Welcome to 2 Minutes of Gaming, where we talk about 10 video game topics for 2 minutes at a time. I'm your host, Keenan, and with me...
Hey, Justin here from OtakusGeeks.com, creator of the indie comic Cry Hero.
Nice. You were doing plugs already? Jesus. It's all good. Anyway, we have a jam-packed show. I was just talking to Justin off here about there's so many topics, but we want to give you guys the best 10 topics, and we're going to kind of go from there. As you can see on the screen, we're going to start out with Sony and Microsoft, the big team up that kind of shook up the video game industry. But later we found out that the team up was just for cloud services. So Justin, 2 minutes on the clock. As you know, we'll hear the bell ring in a minute, 2 minutes. But what's your thoughts on that?
Well, first of all, I think this is a good move for both parties. Simply, one, it's a nice kind of litmus test of how their working relationship can become if they decide to go further into this. So doing something as they're both knowing that the future of gaming is going to be that cloud gaming streaming. What better way for two tech giants to combine their resources to try to really figure out how this cloud game is going to work? Because to be honest with you, the PS Now is not really perfected. Great concept right now, but really not perfected. There's tons of lagging that still happens regardless of how powerful your internet connection is. So for them to really partner up with Microsoft to really try to figure out the next phase of gaming, I think is very positive. I think it's something that is going to benefit mutual parties, and not to mention they'll probably bring Nintendo into the fold later on as well. I do hope that this will lead into a more broader spectrum of collaboration. Hopefully what everybody's been asking for, not just certain games such as Minecraft, is crossplay, especially Sony being one of the big holdouts of crossplay. So it'll be nice to see how this working relationship develops into more ambitious projects that gamers are really looking forward to, especially as we're winding down on the end of this generation and moving in more into the next generation. So I'm really looking forward to see what's going to happen here.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, the biggest takeaway is that I don't want to say that they're nervous about Google, but I do think that, that's a monster that's coming into the industry. And like I said on the last episode, is that, it could literally change the way we game, or it's just going to go and be a bust and nobody's going to care. And saying all of that, I think Sony and Microsoft are both kind of saying, okay, like you said, let's establish some kind of partnership or something to where you just never know, right? And so let's kind of open up those doors just in case we have to, and it reminds me of before when we just had Sega and Nintendo, and we had, obviously they brought Sony into it, but, we had a huge corporation, Sony, coming in, then we had the huge corporation, Microsoft, come in, and I think that now they're the video game companies, and now we have the other big monster company coming in, so they kind of want to make sure that neither one of them turns into Sega. So,
nobody wants that.
Yeah, no, not even me. All right. Next topic, PS5. Just kind of going along that same Sony pattern. Looks like PS5, about a month ago, there were some details about the tech. Actually, so when I first heard the rumors, I was like, oh, this is all junk. But I heard it actually leaked out from a Sony employee. So some of the tech features that they talked about was obviously it's going to load faster, better graphics. But the biggest thing for me was backwards compatibility. There was another article that was released recently that said they're looking at a 2020 spring launch. I kind of feel like that's kind of early, but what's your thoughts on these Sony PS5 rumors?
Well, first of all, backwards capability is very important to me, especially at this time.
Yeah.
Sony has a huge library, and clearly from the failure of the PlayStation Classic, we need to have them just be able for us as gamers to at least purchase these type of titles in the store for us to play on our next system. From 1 to 5 would be great. But from what I understand from my research, the backwards capability is only going to be for the PS4, for PS4 games, which I'm really hoping not. As far as the specs are going, it seems like it's going to be on the lines of one of your strongest PC game laptops, so that's very encouraging as well. But I'm not much of a graphics guy. I'm more concerned with what titles we're gonna get, What, like I just said, the backwards capability. What else are they gonna offer me to really make me stay on the Sony side of here? But it looks pretty good. And as far as it coming 2020 next year, that seems to be a long shot because just the way of more titles that we're getting that's not even close to the end, such as The Last of Us 2, things that we're going to be discussing later on in this episode. There's a lot of stuff still coming for the PS4, so I don't see that coming up right next year.
Well, that's the buzzer. Always good conversation there. Next is a bill. A senator is introducing a bill to ban loot boxes and other pay-to-win microtransactions in predominantly games that are geared and targeted towards kids. Two questions here. A, do you think that this is going to happen? And then B, do you think that it should happen? 2 minutes on the clock. What do you think, Justin?
A, should it happen? You know what? It's all about personal responsibility. I don't think this should happen. As much as I hate...
Wait, we are talking about kids, though. We are talking about kids.
Well, okay, we're talking about kids here.
Games that are targeted towards kids.
Okay, if you're marketing it towards kids, then yes, make it illegal. Okay, that's something that shouldn't be happening. You shouldn't be marketing things that are gambling, pay to win towards kids in general, especially if they don't have money, but kids are easily know how to get to their parents' credit card numbers and everything else. Kids are slick.
There's probably a credit card already on file sometimes.
Yes, so that too. Well, that's the parents' fault as well. Keep that off. If you know your child, if you know you have a child, like I said, it all goes back to personal responsibility here. I'm going to side with companies, believe it or not, on this one. I don't think this should happen because it's all about personal responsibility. You as a parent should know what your child is doing. Yes, I know it's not easy watching your kid 24/7, but if your kid's at home playing video games and you're not home, I would not have my PlayStation. I don't have it saved on my PlayStation now. I don't even have kids. So I don't agree with this. I think it hurts companies who are actually trying. Some indie companies need the microtransactions to benefit and stuff like that. But I think to ban it and call it gambling, it's a choice. You don't have to pay. You can always grind. And yes, the grind might take you 72 hours worth of gameplay, but it's still a choice of whether you're gonna buy it or not. It's not something that's really making it like, hey, you want the next, like if it's mobile, like you want the next level, yeah. But I mean, I'm talking about console games here. It's not like we're gonna buy a full game. Like, hey, you want this chapter 2? Well, you got to cough up this. Then. Well,
no, that's what people are doing, and actually, Nintendo, as the buzzer goes off there, but Nintendo did the same thing where. They put a paywall on Mario Run where after the second level, you had to pay if you wanted to continue. So I'll just say my 2 cents real quick before we move on to the next topic. I actually hope it happens as the developer, only because I do feel like this is becoming the norm. And as a designer, it actually affects the way I design going forward because I have to understand the new mindset of the consumer now. And unfortunately, as much as I think a lot of those games are trash, people want those microtransactions. People would rather have a free game filled with microtransactions than a game that is $5 with none. So anyway, next topic, Mortal Kombat. So speaking of microtransactions, Mortal Kombat is a mess right now. On one hand, you have the websites, the IGNs, the GameSpot, all these guys. They're giving Mortal Kombat 11 great reviews, amazing scores. But then you have the users giving it 1s, 2s, 3s out of 10. Mm-hmm. Reason being, tons of microtransactions, which I just mentioned, which, again, they probably had to put in. But then also a lot of SJW stuff implemented into the storylines. What's your thoughts on this, Justin?
One, when it comes to fighting games with the microtransactions, like you said, this is becoming the norm.
Yeah.
But from what I understand from those with, playing the game, it's also a grind that they're complaining about with the grind. As far as the SJW overtones, I mean, first of all, I've seen what happened with the Jack storyline. I think it's just disgusting.
Give people a little background on what happened with Jax.
Okay, just real quick. So what happened, and sorry for the spoilers. So it's not canon technically, but you know how everyone has their own individual arcade mode or something like that. So Jack's ending is that he goes back and time travels and frees the slaves. And he literally says, it's time for people to get woke.
All right.
Totally against the character, totally unnecessary. And this is the problem that we're having in gaming journalism in general. And this is just not Mortal Kombat. I'm going to say this in 30 seconds. You can't be an activist and a journalist at the same time. And what I mean by that is that if you are so passionate about POC, LGBTQ, whatever your passion is, alt-right, far left, I don't care. I'm none of that anyway. You're going to have some sense of bias. And you're going to be looking for things while you're doing a review. I've seen reviews of people for Days Gone, which we're going to talk about later. This review was like, oh, it has too much white people. Who plays games looking for these type of representations?
Yeah.
These things are designed for escapism.
Yeah, 10 seconds, Justin, 10 seconds.
That's it. That's all I'm going to say. It's designed for escapism. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that you want to put a, as a developer, we want to put like a moral, implement our morals into there and express ourselves. But I do feel like it is getting a little bit too far now. But we'll talk more about that at another time.
Oh, we will. We definitely will.
2 zombie games came out around the same time. One, which I really was excited to talk about on the show, Days Gone, and then War Z. Believe it or not, none of us got Days Gone, but you got War Z. So let's kind of give a minute each, if you can, to each of these topics. I want to talk more about Days Gone, and you can kind of give people insight about War Z.
Okay, War Z. Basically, if you play Left 4 Dead, it's pretty much Left 4 Dead 3. I mean, it has everything that you've been looking for. If you were waiting for Left 4 Dead 3, just pick up World War Z. It has the same type of premise, same setup. I do like it's very action-packed. I will definitely say my only disappointment is that it doesn't feel scary at all. It does feel repetitive, especially when it comes to the horde chasing you. Once after you finish with the New York level, it gets a little bit very repetitive of, okay, I got to set up the defenses for this part. Oh, here comes this whole horde. But it's still a very fun game. Whether you're playing single player or multiplayer, it's really good zombie game, just not scary. Days Gone, on the other hand, from what I've seen playing share play with Vega, it's a good game. It's really good, nice open world, but the same thing, it will also get very repetitive. So
let me jump in because we do have, like, say, we're going to do a minute each of these. I was super excited, man, for Days Gone. You saw and of those who follow Cyber Gaming, when I went to GDC, obviously I went to learn and network, but I mean, when they had the floor set up for you to play games, that was the first game I went to. And you saw the videos I put up. I was super excited for this game. But unfortunately, while it's a great idea as a whole, my understanding that there's so many little annoying glitches and gameplay design poor design decisions. So it's tough because I'm somebody who wants to support a developer. Hello, I'm a developer, so I love to support developers. But it just sounds like, and I heard there has been a lot of patches since, but it sounds like this Days Gone is a game that will be great once there is ample amount of patches, and and then at that point, based on the poor design decisions, it may be a great game to pick up on sale. So that's about perfect timing. All right. Final Fantasy VII. For those who don't know, and I don't know if you said it last episode, Justin, but for those who are new to the show, this is this guy's favorite game of all time.
Yes, it is.
It's a silly question on the screen right now that says, "Are you hyped for Final Fantasy VII?" Again, just go. Are you?
I mean, come on. It looks like playing Avid Children. That's how great it looks. It looks like the movie Avid Children. That's how great the graphics look. They just show basically a snippet, a brief of the first mission, obviously, when you first get introduced to Cloud Barrett. And it seems a little bit different because it seems Ares is going to be part of the mission this time, which I thought was pretty clever. Very looking forward to this, and we're going to get more details in June. So I am absolutely hyped. Gameplay looks similar to Final Fantasy 15, which isn't a bad thing, you know, because it's more action oriented, especially as you played Crisis Core and other Final Fantasy 7 games. So to get rid of the turn-based, I'm all for it. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, it looks great. Don't get mad, Justin, and Final Fantasy hater. I mean, people, lovers, don't leave no comments because I'm not going to reply. But I just felt, because as you know, Justin, I didn't play the game in 97 when it came out. Was 97?
97.
Okay. I played it in was it 2017 I played it, or 2016?
16.
16? Okay. I played it then. And I felt, and no spoilers for a game that's 22 years old, but I felt like the death of the you-know-who, I feel like that could have been done better. And so for me, I'm looking forward to that part again. Again, not trying to spoil it for the people who haven't played it yet, because there's a lot of young kids who are 22 and they weren't even born when this game came out. 21-year-olds right now, which is crazy. That's really sad, actually. But for the new people, that's how old we're getting, I guess. But nonetheless, I'm hoping that scene is done a little bit better. I feel like the music in that death scene could have been better. I felt like they could have built her up a little bit more. So that's, for me, what I'm hoping for. We'll see more in June. So next topic. As you know, I'm a big Sega guy. And so Sega just continues to keep messing up. They just released this Sonic movie. I'm going to just start the clock because we're not going to talk about this forever. So Sega movie, I'm showing you guys as we speak, showing you guys the garbage video. There was so much backlash from this video that Sega the movie studio, came out and said they're going to remake and redo some things. What's your thoughts on this Sonic trailer, Justin?
First of all, when I first saw it, I was like, what? The rumors were really true? Like that, the leak design, that they actually went with that. And then the internet outrage. Yeah, I was one of those people. I went straight to Facebook. I went to the Twitters. I went to our Instagrams. And I was just like, come on. You got Jim Carrey looks great. He looks like he can nail the role of Robotnik.
He's great, yeah.
You got a decent cast, but once again, we have this, I'm out of my element. I'm in the real world. Dude, Green Hill Zone, Spring Yard Zone, just come on, man. Like, stop including humans. It's the same mistake that the first Transformers movies did until they rebooted with Bumblebee. They keep emphasizing on the humans. It's about Sonic, not about the humans in the world around them. You know, it's about Sonic in the Sonic world. It's not that hard. It prints itself.
Yeah, it's really sad. You know, people always ask me all the time, you know, like just in generic questions, like, hey, if you hit the lotto, what would you do? Or if you were a billionaire, what would you do? I mean, the first thing I would do is I would go to a beach and I would pick up my cell phone while I'm on the beach with no shirt on, and I would fire everybody from Sega. Because this company is so poorly run. You know what? Again, I don't even have enough time to really rant like I want to. That may be for another episode. But when I look at what Disney is doing with all of, you know, Marvel's IP and just all of Disney's IP in general, when you're looking at remakes, looking at, you know, the Avengers Endgame, etc., they're doing an amazing job.
Yeah, except for Star Wars.
Well, but I'm just saying, as far as generating money and keeping these things alive, right? You know, whatever the case may be, you could, you know, say this movie could be better or whatever. But at least they're doing something. Sega has so much IP, they have no clue how to A, make something good, but B, first of all, this Sonic movie should have came out 20 years ago.
Should have been out when Juliet White was still Sonic.
Well, that too. But I started to think about when all of these movies were out, Mortal Kombat came out in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Street Fighter in the 90s. Now, when I look at Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat, I'm like, this is going to be more of a Street Fighter, which, rest in peace, you know, who was the guy, Bison, who died? Raul Julian?
Julian, something like that, yeah.
Rest in peace to him, and John Claude Van Damme was in there as well. But this is going to be more like a Street Fighter, But here's the thing: if this movie came out in '93 or '94 or '95, I'll say, you know what? Hey, Justin, that's back in the days. We didn't know any better. No excuse. You know what? I'm done. I can't even go anymore.
Yeah.
Next topic. Okay, something else that pisses me off. All right, so which game announcement? So recently there's a big announcement from EA about Madden, the new Madden. A new announcement as well from another Sega company, but not really fully Sega Atlas, about Persona 5S. Which announcement disappointed you more? 2 minutes on the clock. What do you think?
Persona. I mean, Madden is the same game every year. I don't even need 2 minutes for that. I mean, the fact that Persona R is going to be like a battle, what is it, like, going to be like a fighting type of game, like a Smash Brothers type.
No, they're saying it's more like Dynasty Warriors or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, but it's supposed to be for the Switch too, right? So.
Yeah, no, it's coming for PS4 as well.
You know, Persona always branches off. Like, it does different genres after they release their games. So they had the music game, they had the Persona fighting game. So it's not really big of a surprise. I know all of us with the great story were hoping to at least get more of an expansion on it. But this is what Persona and Atlas always does. So I'm not really as disappointed because it's something that they always do. Madden, on the other hand, I mean, dude, y'all been doing the same game for years now. Like, come on.
It's you know what? My question was, which one was more? I'm gonna go with Madden. And before I go into Madden, let me just say this about Persona and to Atlas. Here's the thing: Persona 5 WoW was really long, and I was kind of done with it when I was done with it. But I want more content for that game. I love that game so much. That game was 100 hours. Guess what, Justin? One day I'm gonna play it again and beat it all again because that's so much. I love that game. I love that game so much. So here's the thing, Atlas. I want to give you money. Just make another story, and you have my money immediately. We love this game. We want to go back into this world. We love this game. But my biggest disappointment was actually Madden because I don't know why. I was thinking maybe they learned their lesson. They're going to implement some cool features. Every year, Madden just comes out with these junk features to make us think the game is different. And it's infuriating because it is the only NFL game in town, as the bell go off. It's the only NFL game in town, so we have to buy it. Yeah. No choice. So it's really frustrating, and really it's just really sad. But
maybe we'll get an XFL game.
That's another topic for itself. Next topic. E3 prediction. So our next show, as you guys know, we film once a month. So our next show, our June show, will be right after E3. But before we go into E3, do you have any predictions, Justin? Anything that you expect?
Well, obviously Final Fantasy VII, since they said they're going to show more in June.
Way better, yeah.
I'm expecting a release date for The Last of Us 2 being announced at the end of the year, or probably around October, which I'm hoping for, around the Halloween market type of. We are going to see the first actual look at the PlayStation 5, with at least a demo reel of the specs.
Remember, no Sony there. No Sony this year.
So. Oh, that's right. Well, they might just do announcements anyway.
Yeah, maybe somewhere else around there.
Yeah, because it's only just Microsoft going, right? Which is,
yeah, I mean, Nintendo never goes, but they show a video.
Yeah, but I heard they're not even doing that this year.
Oh,
so, man. Wow, this is a different E3, man. Of course, Ubisoft will probably announce another Assassin's Creed. Yeah, but otherwise than that, now that Sony and Nintendo has pulled out, it's kind of different. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna get anything real. I'm hoping I'm wrong, obviously.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna get really anything big, but I really feel like if you're Microsoft, this is the time for you to retake the lead. They're not taking the lead anywhere. Right now. I mean, I heard the Switch is selling really well in Japan. Obviously, PS4 is doing really well in America. Microsoft is kind of lost in the shuffle right now. But I feel like if you're Microsoft, you got to be like, man, we're gonna take this show over, and we're gonna show some really amazing things. As far as my predictions, you know, you'll get your usual Call of Duties, your usual Maddens there, and hopefully Final Fantasy will be on the show floor. That'd be really, really cool.
Yeah.
So we'll see. It'd be a lot of fun though. So, all right. Look, last topic of the day. What are you playing?
Right now, I am just playing 3 games. I finally purchased Tales of Vesperia. This is the only Tales game that I have not played. I played all the import ones, the unreleased ones only in Japan for the DS and everything else. So this Vesperia that came out for the Xbox 360 is the only one I haven't played when it was supposed to come out for the PS3, but they finally released it for the PS4. Enjoying it so far. Just started my GM mode for NBA 2K19. I decided to do, instead of choosing a team, I'm doing an expansion. Created my own team, brought a basketball back to New Jersey because, you know, they need somebody.
I swear. But anyway.
Yeah. And I'm finishing up Phoenix Wright right now. I'm on the second game.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. Phoenix Wright is great. You know what's funny? So the last show, I was in the middle of beating God of War. Finally beat it, and this is I think the second or third God of War I've beaten, but the ending was really, really, really good. So I definitely recommend Justin if you to go back to it, and other people as well. Just as far as the story, which you obviously can just Google, but the story was really good. Then there was a post-credit scene as well, which is going to lead to God of War 2, which is really, really good. And I'm not going to spoil it for those who don't know. But then the gameplay was the best. God of War gameplay was the last battle. I actually Googled it online before, and I was not really impressed. But when you actually have to play it, it's very puzzly. And I'm not going to spoil how or why, but I would recommend people who haven't played that go back. But the game I've been spending most of my time with, I'm actually going to play it right after we finish the show, is Lost Sphear. For those who don't know, creators of I Am Setsuna, Tokyo RPG, made a ton of RPGs in general, Square game. They, again, similar to I Am Setsuna, and we'll finish the show with this, it's showing a lot of love, as we know, to the old RPGs. But the reason why I wanted to mention it on the show is I actually beat the game. And for the first time in my life, I've been gaming for 25 years, 30 years. For the first time in my life, they included the sequel into the game. So after you beat it, again, maybe there's a game you can mention, or you guys leave comments about a game that I can't remember. After you beat the game, you see the credits, you kill the boss, etc., etc. You can literally just stop. Or when it bring you back to the title screen, and then you can play again, go back, and it picks up from where you left off, and everything is saved, but you're in a different place, and I'm not going to spoil what happens, but it kind of starts like a sequel, a mini sequel. It's really, really interesting, and I was like, wow. So right now I'm at the mini sequel, I guess, the post credits game, and again, it's all related, continuous. So it's really, really cool, really seamless experience.
I might definitely get that one is on sale.
Yeah, please do. But before we go, any last words to the people?
Yeah, just you can follow me on Instagram at Tacos and Geeks. You can follow my comic if you wish, Cry Hero Comic. And don't forget to visit us at tacosandgeeks.com and cryhero.com.
All right. Well, you already know what it is for me. SideBgaming.com. Follow me on Instagram. I'm on Twitter, but Instagram is the main page. So, all right, guys. Well, thank you for listening. Thank you for your time, Justin, as well.
Of course.
We're out.
It is.